Hello, today we're going to make one of these beautiful embroidered balls here. I used to start with the children making their own small felt ball, but today we're going to use a bigger ball. They're easily findable at Trader Joe's. You can get these wool dryer balls from Trader Joe's. They come 4 to a bag, so share with a friend. So you need a felt ball of whatever kind. You need a nice sharp pair of scissors. You need a needle that is pointed at the end and with an eye big enough to hold your thread. And let's talk about thread. There's a choice really. You could use this 6-strand embroidery floss, but I don't. I actually don't use it with children anymore at all because it does split into the 6 strands and it easily gets tangled. It's hard to thread, it knots. It's just harder to use, so I don't use that anymore. What I do use is pearl cotton, and this is let me show you one strand here. This is twisted already, so it doesn't come apart as you sew with it, and it has a nice sheen, and I think it looks much better apart from being easy to use. It comes in different thicknesses. So for example, this is a size 3 and this would be a size 12, so you see the difference. The smaller the number, the thicker the thread, and I would use a thicker thread so that it covers more easily, quite honestly. You don't want to get too crazy about getting stressed about not finishing the ball. It's a nice thing to be able to pick up and put down and just enjoy doing kind of as a side project when you or the children might like to just keep their fingers busy. Now let me get my needle ready and I'll show you how to start. So now I've got my needle threaded. I suggest using chain stitch because it covers better as well, and I think it looks quite intriguing with the texture. This here is stem stitch, and it just doesn't cover as well, but you're welcome to use any stitch you like. Running stitch, any stitch you like really is fine. But I do like the effect of chain stitch. And it also is twice as much thread on top as it is underneath, so it's kind of economical. You cover twice as much ground as you might otherwise. So to start, you don't need a knot. You just go in somewhere because the wool will hold the thread quite well. So I'm just coming in. I'm going to either leave the end sticking out and cut it off afterwards, which I will do this time, or I can just pull it inside. Well, maybe I'll do that because I know that it will hold well enough. Now to do a chain stitch, quick reminder or a opportunity to learn, you make chains. So I'm going to make the first link in the chain. I have come out here and I'm going to go in pretty much very close there, just right next to it. Then I'm going to come out where I want the stitch to lie, like that. I'm pressing down with my thumb a little bit to get the felt ball out of the way and to make sure I don't poke my thumb. You don't want to do that. Like this. And I make sure this thread goes around the needle. I'm going to pull it through. The long thread, I wouldn't normally use quite such a long thread, but it won't get tangled so easily because it is pearl cotton. Okay, here we go. And now for my next stitch, I'm going to go back in through this loop, so very close to where I came out and inside the loop, like this, in and out. And I'm going to kind of snug it up as close as I can next to the other line that I've been doing here. Well, at least so far I'm going to do that. I really like to keep it very free and meandering so that, and there's a knot, very free and meandering so that it's not representational. It just is. There we go. It does sort itself out with patience, which is another thing to work on. Here we go. I'm going in again. Some people call these river balls, but I like to, like I said, keep it free and just meander. And I'm going to come out here, keeping this round the needle like that. And so I'm locking the previous stitch by going back into that loop. So this locks that stitch, that locks that stitch. Here we go again. In and out, making sure my thumb is out of the way and making this nice little loop here. Color is a very therapeutic thing to work with. I know I feel really differently if I'm working with light yellow or dark green or a soft blue. And these balls always surprise me. I quite like the sort of interaction with the ball and with the colours, just to see where it takes me. So I really don't plan it out. I don't make an earth ball. I don't try to make a river. I don't try to make spirals. And then sometimes I snug things right up against another colour, and sometimes I just freely meander around, and I have no idea what I'm going to fill in there yet, but it will come. So when you get to the end of the thread, when you've done your last stitch, I'm going to do one last stitch here. So I go in through the loop and out. Where is it coming out? Whoops. Oh, try it again. There it is. I see it coming out. And the loop goes around the needle. Now to finish it off, you don't need to do any kind of locking mechanism, except you want to make sure that this stitch will not come undone. So instead of going back into the loop, I go over that thread. So I've come out inside the loop. I'm going to go down into the ball on the other side of this thread loop. I'm just going to go in here quite tightly and close so it doesn't look ungainly. I'm just going to come out somewhere, anywhere really. That's a bit far away to come out there. So I'm going to come out here perhaps. Let's find a place to come out. There we go. And pushing it through. You need fairly strong hands to do this. A longer needle is sometimes helpful. Find one that works for your fingers. Okay, so this last stitch here goes over the thread loop, like I was saying. That's kind of important, or it will come undone. And then I just have gone inside the ball here, and I'm going to clip it off quite close to the ball, and that end will never be seen again. There we go. I'm just going to sew right over that. So I wish you a lot of enjoyment making these balls. They all come out differently, even if you think they're going to be the same. They come out a little bit differently. I hope you really enjoy this, you or your children.